Welcome to day one of the groups. Stud Muffin Wagamama here. Dude, Waga, we have a awesome first match that we get to cast. EG versus Navi.
I'm so happy to get this match, EG versus Navi. They played against each other in Star Series, and these are two teams that I really want to follow. Navi have been looking so strong recently, winning Star Series, obviously. And EG, I don't really know what to expect from them. Are they going to succeed? Are they going to fail? You know, it's been hard to predict them really since Manila, I would say. And this is just where we get to see it, the group stage.
EG have been such an enigma of a team.
Yes.
You always just hold such high expectations for them, especially with this roster, because you think, like, this is a roster that has won many a time. They've worked together plenty. They know how it works, the ins and outs of these teams. PPD knows what to pick for each of their players, but they still seem a bit out of their element or out of their groove. You already mentioned Star Series a bit. When they were there, they were pulling out that ridiculous Oracle mid and AA mid. Already in TI6, we saw in the last series they had up against Wings, where they ended up splitting that series 1-1. They went with the Wisp Huskar, both those games, Waga. And yeah. I don't know if we're going to be seeing a lot more of the same or not.
Well, I think Navi abused the Wisp Huskar themselves a lot as well. And that was what they did against EG to knock them down from the upper bracket in Star Series. So I think EG has taken inspiration from Navi, and now they get to play against them again. So it's going to be a really interesting matchup. And yeah, I'm just excited to see EG, of course. They brought out the Storm Spirit earlier. There's been some testing around of different heroes. And this patch is so forgiving in terms of what you can draft. There are a lot of different things that can be picked, but I love what EG have done here. Snag up the early Elder Titan. I think it's one of the heroes that kind of goes under the radar for some teams. But when I see Secret in some games run it, and other teams as well, it just looks so strong.
It's one of the biggest questions I had coming into TI6. For a lot of these teams, we have not gotten to see them play recently. For others, they're fresh off of that Star Series, and they're fresh off of working with this meta. So seeing what the priorities were going to be for these captains as far as first picks, first bans. We saw a lot of Star Series that Drow was the hero. Now we're not even seeing it acknowledged one bit. And yeah, Elder Titan has always been there and is something that is going to be snagged up from any team if it happens to make its way through the ban phase. So.
Exactly. Drow has been pushed down the pecking order to be sort of a 4th or 5th pick in a lot of the games today. We've seen her get played, but it's just not prioritized as high in the pick. And mostly, oh, she actually does get picked up 2nd here, so they are kind of revealing this strategy. And I think they already have nice heroes against the Dry Neutral. The Faceless Void to get in close. Interesting to see Navi just go for this.
Well, if any team was to really go for a Drow lineup, Navi's got to be one of the best. I mean, this is kind of fits along with that whole Navi fast-paced, rush, device style Dota we're used to seeing from them.
They love Windrunner mid with it as well. They can pick Windrunner mid, they can pick the Huskar mid. Those two heroes that comes to mind here, especially as they have the Oracle first pick, you kind of have to ban the Huskar.
Oh, yeah,
but the respect, the Dandy Sand King, been used a lot.
That's true too. Oh, man. Because you could be in a bit of a jam. I could see EG. You know, they are one of those teams that I don't want to label them quickly to say stubborn, but they welcome, you know, what the opposing team, what their favorites may be. They welcome a challenge. They welcome an opportunity to counterplay it a bit, and they could try instead to creep in something like a Timber Saw, like they've shown, and then Navi could bounce back with something like that Sand King. Navi could end up putting EG in the palm of their hand, Waga.
Yeah, EG try and welcome stuff, but I think it's smart in this game that they got rid of the Sand King, because Navi's win rate with Sand King is like 8-1 in the last 9 games that they played it. It's amazing how well they have made this work. And they also get rid of the Batrider, of course, top tier hero at this tournament so far as well. Really being used a lot. Batrider and Beastmaster are kind of the go-to offlaners after Void.
Beastmaster actually still in the pool and is a general favorite, so we'll see if Navi managed to sneak that one up for themselves. If it's something they do look for, I'd imagine Beastmaster could find its way almost into any lineup, but Nature's Prophet comes out for EG now.
I think we're going to see it right away right here, the Beastmaster. When you see Nature's Prophet being picked as well, you're starting to limit the offlane pool. You already have some heroes being banned out as well with the Batrider gone. And it works so well with the Drow Ranger. Just attack speed aura with that damage aura. Everyone is going to have so much DPS coming in.
Outside of that, it's like what? You go for maybe an offlaner who has range to benefit from the Drow Ranger, but I can't really think of much that General goes for.
The only ranged offlaner is really Batrider. That's being used a lot.
Yeah.
Other than that, and even he doesn't benefit so much from the draw.
Maybe Mirana, but obviously Mirana had been banned in the first phase. But once you get rid of those options, yeah, it just feels like Beastmaster is the go-to grab.
And I think Na'Vi is actually one of a few teams that do the off-lane Mirana. Most teams just run it mid or support, whereas Na'Vi run it really anything. Dendi plays it, they play it on support as well, on Soneko, and they also play it off-lane. So maybe a good ban against Na'Vi.
Do they have any sort of lane flexibility already committing with the Drow where they could possibly run a dual lane setup, or is Drow just too fickle and you need to make sure you have a lot of protection around her?
You can always try and do a Drow mid. If you have Elder Titan kind of sitting around with a stomp, you can prevent dives coming in. Oh, they go for a Slaughter instead of Beast.
Heavy physical damage and obviously a better perk for going in with that Roche. You are already inside.
But they are locking themselves a little bit in lanes here, I feel. And Drow is definitely not a weak safe laner, though, but you just gave it away so early that EG can now customize against it.
So we'll Navi's game plan kind of already out there right now for EG. It's a matter of EG being able to respect that game plan and see if they can kind of strategize around it in a way. Because, I mean, what would you say? We know EG, they're a championship kind of a team. These players are very, very talented, but you know, even with the game plan being out there from Na'Vi, do you think that where they are in this meta, that they could just still be able to bulldoze through EG if they're not just, you know, in tune?
I think Na'Vi could run over EG if EG are not prepared. I believe so. But EG are also, as you said, they're champion material, all of these players. It's the EG secret kind of thing, right? Around Manila, we were talking about, is it going to work? How are the team constellations going to work? And I think EG definitely have it in them, but now is the time to show it, this group stage.
All right, we go back to EG now, and it's, you know, PPD still needs a hero to kind of go his way, and we don't know for certain exactly where this Nature's Prophet will pop up, but potentially Sumail hero is going to be needed. But then again, it's EG, and based on what we saw at Star Series, anything could happen with this team, but not really the stage that you want to maybe pull out those support mids.
I feel it's a little bit strange right now, though, the draft. I definitely feel that Na'Vi have an upper hand, so I like that EG are taking some time on this pick, because the way it looks now to me, their team fight is sort of there. The setup, the very popular combo between Elder Titan and Void, pretty much everyone is valuing that extremely high, as you always will get the crack from the Elder Titan ulti during the Chronosphere. But I just don't like the way their early game looks. A lot of pressure, I guess, on the Nature's Prophet.
I mean, I could see them getting something like an AA that does add to the Wombo combo factor a bit with the Void and maybe the Elder Titan, but they opt to go for a Chen, which is interesting, Waga, because EG are not the biggest Chen team. Like, this is a team that normally just skips it all the way, and you're right, Na'Vi are a team that is very good with Chen. This is interesting. EG giving Na'Vi a taste of medicine, but they pull out something that they know they're good with, and they get Enchantress. This, I mean, Na'Vi, I think they are the more respected, you know, Ench/Chen jungling early aggressive team.
I would never want to be in a battle where I'm Chen and Artstyle is the Enchantress or something like that.
Even with the Drow aura. Oh my god.
It's gonna hurt. This Enchantress is also so fast now. Fastest hero in the game, and early game is so
tied with Cottrell, let's not forget that.
True, Cottrell is quick now.
He's tied with Cottrell with fastest hero, but
that old man.
Man, oh man. So this is going to be interesting to see. Is PPD going to be, I imagine, sticking with will be the Chen in this case? I know they played it a little bit last time.
Yeah, I think definitely PPD is going to be a Chen. And Sai Elder Titan is kind of respected since an era before as well. Like, he's played that so much in the past. I think you have to give it to him. More because of the Elder Titan than because of a Chen.
Obviously, a different pace for EG than what we've already seen from them here at TI, with their past series being both committed to more of a ramped-up tempo Huskar Wisp lineup. This one, they could be a little bit more disciplined, but you can already see based on the lineup for both teams, succeeding in the early game could be very crucial. Probably even more crucial to Na'Vi, especially now. I mean, this seems like it's going to be all on this Drow, and, you know, don't get me wrong, Enchantress always has the potential to become a late-game hard-hitting core. Paired together with the amp damage of Slardar, and already mentioned the Drow aura, they can hit like a truck. But look at this follow-up final pick, Waga, the famous Dendi Puck.
Yeah, Puck with Drow aura again. We keep coming back to this, but the Drow aura makes such a big difference in laning stage, which is extremely crucial. And the more heroes that they have that kind of dominate their lanes, now Enchantress with the roam, Puck with the mid lane, who's already strong, I think a lot of pressure is on the Chen and Furion to make the early game work for EG. I love this, though. TA pick coming in.
Oh, I bet you love this. So what do you think, then? Templar Assassin, matchup against the Puck. This is a pretty popular one-on-one, but based on the Drow aura, based on the potential outside interference of this Chen, of this Enchantress, what would you be thinking, Waga? You're this TA coming into this game.
I don't like the fact that there's so few stuns on EG, actually. Elder Titan is kind of good, I guess. And the Chronosphere from Void is good, but that's not so often you have it off cooldown. And then you have the Chen creeps. Depending on what he has, you could have some good disables. But I love the lineup Na'Vi much more. The Puck and Slardar is very straightforward, pretty low cooldown, the Puck ulti. And it seems their teamfight is going to be really easy to execute. So I think I would be a little bit worried if I was on EG right now.
Can't help but really agree with you on that. I look at both teams' lineups. Na'Vi seemed very... Could see a Na'Vi with a strong game one, but with that said, unfortunately, I don't know, maybe there was a camera bug. I can't click my minimap, Waga, so if you're watching me, it's going to be possibly some rough obs for game number one. It looks like we might have had a little bit of a camera glitch because I can't click on the map, and I think I can click on heroes still. I can.
Yeah, you can teleport by heroes.
So I'll have to do it like that. It's going to be rough, folks. We'll try to make our way through it here, but here we go. It's game number one of our Na'Vi versus EG matchup right here, and Waga, we do have some predictions. Why don't we fire through them real quick? Player with the highest net worth by 25 minutes.
I'm going to throw it on the TA. I'm going for it. Even though a Drow lineup kind of needs to be ahead, Sumail is really good at farming. I think he's going to go it.
Player with the highest net worth by 10 minutes in.
Then I would probably put carry. Maybe the Tiara, actually. Yeah.
Sounds
Depends
good.
how much they contest it, though, but I'm going to go for it. What do you think about the duration?
Oof. I would have to say sooner than later. I'm going to go 30 to 37.
Oh, General, just getting a little bit of punches here, taking quite a bit of damage here.
All right, I'm going to last.
They're running around.
We'll go right that. That's good. And here they come all the way up and around. Na'Vi looking to intercept here against EG early on. Fear, interesting to note, playing the Void. Now that we kind of can push these predictions aside, we can see that there is a bit of a change-up. I guess when you first see a Faceless Void pop up on EG, I guess I kind of get like, oh, that's got to be a Universe Faceless Void. But no, he's going to be playing the Nature's Prophet in this one.
Yeah, the carry Fear Void. I like the carry Void. I actually think it's quite strong against the Drow Ranger as well, because then you have enough items to really go in there and be tanky enough to stay close to her. Just being close to Drow is going to mitigate so much of the damage from Na'Vi. So having this hero is going to help them.
Yeah, it's going to be something a bit different. What do you think about the item buildup then? I know you're a big advocate, of course, of your Precious Radiance buildup, of your Void, but is that something that kind of suits or fits the bill for this one?
I think you can go many different item builds, but Vanguard is not bad, but I love the Echo Saber and Maelstrom. You can also go with the Manta Diffusal. Both of them are really good. I don't think it's a good Radiance game at all. Mid, a lot of pressure being put by Dendi onto the TA, and now the wraparound comes as well.
Yep. We were expecting the first strike to come soon from both sides, and oh, what a perfect timing! The Courier is right in the mix. They're gonna get not only the Courier here, Waga, they can also take down Sumail's TA. They're gonna chase her through, back behind the trees. The Refraction has already been committed. Now Universe gonna be forced to step in. Can they get the pop-up kill? They can. They are gonna be able to get the return fire kill, but they might also get the follow-up. Is Universe gonna be going down? It looks like that may be the case here. Tries to hide behind the tower. It's not gonna be happening, and off to the races we go. It's already a hot 2-1 start. And meanwhile, Dendi, as he wraps it up and around the corner, runs into PPD. And Zai now, long shockwave will connect. Some hard-hitting damage, but eventually the puck will make it back in a way.
Yeah, great start for the puck. That's exactly what you want. And this is why I would not want to get into this battle against Artstyle. He knows these heroes, you know, like his own pocket. Enchantress and Chen, he always makes the right rotations. And I love the fact that at the start of the game, Soneko ran out to block the jungle so that Chen could not make this rotation mid so quickly. That's why he was first mid.
Very heads-up start from Na'Vi. It's obviously a kind of early playstyle that they're used to even employing themselves, so I'm sure they're kind of aware of what to expect from the other side. Very aggressive Soneko, kind of getting in the face of Zai over here, flustering him quite a bit, pulling Zai away from the lane.
He's got suicide to get back to base as well, Zai.
No, he'll take the express trip back up and over here.
PPD, does it get blocked? He's got him.
He's stuck in. Nice play from Artstyle. Blocks the path out with the Centaur and shows him who the real jungling micro player is.
Yeah,
Art
really.
style.
Oh, he's been part of 3 kills in less than 3 minutes already. That is such a quick start.
Dang. A Na'Vi special in its own right.
And meanwhile all this is happening, no one can really put pressure onto the Drow Ranger. I mean, yes, you have the Elder Titan and Furion kind of laning there, but she also has the help of Oracle. She doesn't mind.
Yeah, not at all. The pressure here from EG has not been enough to kind of bring this Drow down a peg one bit.
They're trying top, but I don't think they should be able to kill this. We'll see.
Let's see. They make a move in. Fear commits in with the time walk. Back out and away here. The creeps are stalking him. They're walking him back and away, but now they'll commit in with the stun from General. A follow-up stun comes out from the Centaur. Universe steps in to try to help out and get some redemption, but they quick work of Fear. General turns it around, and they're going to get that kill. Art style. This guy is putting in work in the early game.
He's just fire on Enchantress. I don't know. I can't believe, actually, that teams are in the point where they have to respect Soneko so much that they can't ban out art style. Because his Chen and Enchantress, those are 2 of their most played heroes, by the way. 2 of their 5 most played heroes in the last 3 months is Chen and Enchantress. When both those heroes are up there, you know that the team kind of pivots around it.
I know, it's one of those things like, yeah, you want to acknowledge and respect all of those prized early hero picks. Now we might see a bit of a skirmish here as they make their move for Suniko. They will be able to take down the pesky Oracle. But yeah, it's like, you see all these prized hero grabs in this meta as what teams find the most threatening and the most prized, but then you have to also respect each team's individuality on what they can play, what their specialties are. And for Na'Vi, and you can see it here in Exhibit A, it's Enchantress.
Oh,
you
yeah.
got to give it the respect.
No, most definitely. And it's so great as well to have a player like Artstyle who's so comfortable doing this or playing Ned Chen. And of course, his Enchantress, in fact, very known from the very first of TI. Is where Artstyle was dominating on that.
Uh-oh. Looks like mid lane. Just a teaser of a setup, a bully back, if you will, on Sumail to force him out from away from all that pressure. While bottom lane, EG are looking to apply a bit of their own pressure, trying to get to Dit Yara, but he knows something is fishy. He is high. Still on their own mission. They finally spot out Dit Yara. The trees are there, but now Dendy's going to be showing up. Dendy looking to move in. He's got a coil. If necessary, this could turn bad for EG. They will be able to take down little Ditya, and it looks like a possible follow-up for Dendy. Nah, Dendy's going to be able to step back and away, and EG will just follow up with the +1 if possible.
Yeah, we'll see if they can hold the tower. Mid tower being pressured, but it's also going to be defended by TA.
Yep, she makes a return. It looks like it will be all good on that front. And as we head back to the bottom here, Dendy, who still pockets this coil.
He doesn't have much mana to work with, though. The bottle is flying out now on the courier, so maybe they could do something, TP in the Drow, but they're going to be zoned out by the Centaur.
Yeah, looks like it's not going to happen here. EG will be able to take down this tower. They're not the fastest at being able to push in. You'd think with a Chen it'd be a lot easier, but it takes a little bit of muscle power, and they'll finally get that tier 1 down. But certainly still an advantage for Na'Vi in the early game here. Minus already for Art Styles.
Yeah, he's the highest net worth on the map, in fact.
My God.
We should have put him down for the 10 minutes. I did not expect that, actually. He normally does so much without any money, really. And that's what we saw. His first 5 kills, he had no items at all. He was just running around with his creeps. Doesn't need items.
And while there seems to be a lot of drawn attention that way, you have people like General just staying planted in the top lane, grinding his own bit of farm. It looks like he's actually not going to rush straight to a Blink Dagger. He gets a helm right away, so possible armlet grab for him.
Yeah, armlet is very powerful here. Against the physical damage from EG, also add some armor that doesn't get removed from the Elder Titan. Having that plus armor really helps. So I like this move. But that also means that they have a little bit longer to wait until he's going to be initiating, but that's fine with a puck in your team.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like they're going to have any sort of atypical mech candidate,
General.
but they are going to possibly make a move for General. Top lane will catch the back end of the gank. It looks like they have swarmed in, and they will be able to take him down.
Yeah, just keeping him behind with the Fury in there, and the Chronosphere, of course, was committed. But the trade is going to be the mid tower, so I still think this is good for Na'Vi, even if they lost a hero. Now it's just about what they do, because that top tower is still being threatened.
And at least Art Style will be one to kind of head up into potential scary territory here on his own. While for Suniko and company, they round back and around where they know that EG are going to be pressuring this top tier 1 tower. We'll have to see what they want to do to stop it, if anything at all.
I think they will try and stop it. They're pretty powerful. And they also have TP now on puck.
Yep, Arstyle's coming in. Flank play. It looks like EG are going to try to withdraw if possible here. Fear committing the time walk while General is out in front for Na'Vi. Artstyle, though, with that fast feet, looking to make a move in. Universe tries his best to sprout and block him out, but it's not going to save Fear. It looks like that's going to be the first victim and probably one of your better targets you could ask for if you're Na'Vi.
Definitely, and that's a second death of Fear. This is a carry Void, and he's actually fourth from the bottom right now in net worth. So he's struggling a lot, and that's because of these rotations as well. Na'Vi are playing very active Dota, really quick Dota as well.
EG can try to recover here. We see Sumail, who was not involved in the action top lane, not even farming through a stack, just a casual bit of Ancients here, trying to find their grind. And if Na'Vi's lineup is already up and ahead, it's only going to make things even easier for them. So it's pressure on EG to try to break this serious momentum right now. Na'Vi are going to clear this top tier 1, and they're just going to get stronger and stronger at this point. It looks like they're going to stay committed here.
This is exactly what Na'Vi wants to do. Just keep moving and take the tier 2 towers, because Drow does that so early. Very easily.
PPD, not even level 5 yet, so they don't have to worry about Hand of God. They don't have to worry about that extra sustain power coming out from EG.
Yeah, but they are going to respect a little bit here, backing off. And of course, Dandy on his puck can scout quite aggressively. They can't really catch him. There's no silence. There's no easy way to grab the puck. But they can still keep playing in the enemy territory here.
Looks like in the meantime, Ditya will take his business back to the bottom lane here on his Drow. I mean, it's ridiculous, just Drow Ranger things. 124 plus 48, and he barely holds anything to his name as it is right now.
Yeah, the damage, and most of the importance as well, the 38 damage that Puck is getting right now, because he hit so hard. Just very easy to get many right clicks off as well as a Puck, because you reposition yourself easily in team fights. And the smoke around bottom.
Yep, bottom lane, it's Universe. Goes for the TP here. General's right there, and he gets the crush off. You're not going anywhere, Little Nature's Prophet. And now Sudiko's there to help out, tries to burst him down, and it is going to be picked up by the Oracle on that one. Good sneaky play from Na'Vi.
Yeah, very, very worth. Any single kill smoke rotation is still fine. No matter if you catch a support or an offlaner, it doesn't really matter. Just get a kill. In the early game at least, that's true. And seems like Dandy is building into that early Veil. He's trying to. Just has a clarity coming out for now, though.
Hey, it looks like he's a little close to PPD right now. As best as possible to burst through the Fairy Dragon, but it's not going to be doing enough to make anything too critical. Dandy will create the space between himself, and now Na'Vi are shifting gears a bit. I was going to see if they were going to be migrating up towards the northern front, but it's actually in the bottom lane where they could be making their approach for Ditya Ra. Ditya Ra sprouted up. Fear's going to commit in, waits once with the chrono, feels it's not necessary, and they get the clean kill, taking out the Drow Ranger without too much trouble.
I think he panicked a bit there, but first we're going to see a chase top lane. PPD being chased by General.
Yep, General makes his move, as PPD is all alone here with no tier 1 for friends to TP2. He's just creating a bit of space because it looks like the rest of EG have already made their move inside the pit. They're going to even commit the coil here for PPD, but PPD's like, that's fine.
That's fine. Roshan's going down to EG during this time, so very good trades here for EG. I was about to say, Drow on the bottom there, when Fury TP'd in behind her, she could just have TP'd out. There was no stun available if she TP'd immediately. But this is giving EG a lot of space and recovery, and having an Aegis now on the TA, they can actually take some fights.
Yep.
Also, I think TA is probably going to go for the Blink Dagger extremely early here. Could still go for the Desolator, but in a game like this, you want a close distance on a Drow.
Yeah.
And having the Aegis already, that's just perfect.
You got to make sure you get in and get the job done fast. I mean, with an Oracle on the other team, they always have that get out of jail free card. So you don't want to commit in, blow your load, and then you're like, oh crap, they're alive, and I didn't finish them off, and now I'm far from my team. So it is definitely going to be a touchy thing for Sumail to consider. Exactly.
It's really good for TA to just go on the Oracle first in the team fight and make him panic, so he has to ulti himself.
That's true.
And then he's to chase down whoever he wants. But Na'Vi looking like they want to fight more, even though there's an Aegis on EG. They're grouping up a lot.
Yeah, items are starting to come together. We have not one, but 2 Dragon Lances now complete for Na'Vi. Artstyle has one on him, and Ditya Ra's Drow also sports another. So they got more range to work with, more damage, and obviously the stats are very, very nice.
Oh, EG scout out a DD rune on bottom. That is very crucial, but Artstyle gonna take it.
Thank you very much.
Right in.
Yeah, snags it up for himself. It looks like Na'Vi are eventually going to be circling back and around to this bottom lane to clear out this tier 1 if possible. But first, they're going to possibly move in for Universe. No, they see the immediate TP and change course, do a bit of a 180. step back out, but Na'Vi with that DD, enticed a bit maybe.
Yeah, they want to fight, and they're actually wrapping around on PPD now.
Oh yeah, he's caught between three. Boom, boom, boom. He goes down. Quick work. EG still committing it hard for the bottom lane as they make their approach for General here.
Oh, he's so slithery.
He went out the right side. They thought he was left. Fear's going to be committing in with the Chrono now. And it's not going to be enough without the follow-up damage there. Zai pops out. Now the Earth Splitter right down the middle. It's going to be right on top of Aditya Raw and Artstyle, but they're still committed to standing and fighting. They're going to be able to burst through this Aegis. Universe from the back end side, looking to isolate and take down Artstyle, but doesn't quite have the firepower. Aditya Raw going to get saved up with a false promise coming out from Soniko, and now they make their move. EG still holding strong here. Get a good heal coming out from PPD, and now Na'Vi forced to evacuate. Aditya Raw goes for the TP, is going to be able to make it out.
Oh, the double
2 for
TP
1 though.
Yeah, that was 2 for 1, but they got the Aegis on the TA as well. And that first fight was gonna be really hard, no matter how you do it. Na'Vi got a great engagement there. The Chronosphere pretty much wasted, and they controlled EG really well, but then the Aegis comes into play. TA coming back with full HP, you have to just bail.
Do feel like that could have been a lot worse for EG, but it worked out in their benefit to be able to kind of stay close and make it out safely.
Yeah, they did some good plays, and Fear stayed alive as long as he could as well. He did go down in the end, but he definitely did his best there.
Looked like they were thinking about a go onto General, but they'll let him be. General does kind of need to focus on himself a bit, so he'll grind his farm here in the bottom lane. He really hasn't picked up much since we last touched into him getting that helm, so
it's
he
a
wants
setback.
to be able to, get back on par. He'll need to keep farming.
He almost has the entire armlet now. In fact, he's got it in just a few hits, and it just sets you back. When you go for this build instead of Blink Dagger, you need to just focus on yourself for a bit longer. Because even when he's an armlet, he can't really just go and be like, okay, I have armlet, let's go. Because there are so many good reaction heroes on like Void. You can't just run in and try to stun him. He's gonna chrono you instead. So he needs that Blink Dagger as well.
Yeah, Fear also is one that will need to do quite a bit of catch up here for EG. Sumail is kind of picking up the pieces for the real DPS in the meantime, while Fear just, has his casual Vlads. How do you think the game works out, though, if this does continue to scale a bit? I imagine Na'Vi are not going to be looking to kind of push the pace a bit, but really, when you look at both drafts on paper, they might fare okay in the late game. So where do you think that this game ends up if we end up pushing into like 35-minute plus territory?
I honestly think that EG have a stronger game then, because I value disables quite a lot heading into late game. One mistake can lose you the game, and Chronosphere, Elder Titan ulti, stuff like this, it really just destroys you in the late game.
That's true.
But shouldn't underestimate the Slardar, though.
All right, we have a lot of rotations mid lane. They make their move. Artstyle is first on the scene, and he eats a lot of damage. He's going to be forced to false promise. There is the Chrono from Fear catching Ditch and Soniko. They prize the Soniko Oracle first, and they'll be able to take him down. And they get the follow-up for Ditya Raw. Very good for EG so far. Sumail jumps to the back lines. He's looking to take down Artstyle. Bam! Hits him hard. Double kill for Zai. Dendi is putting in the work for Na'Vi, but it might not be enough. General forced to stun and retreat, and Na'Vi begin to crumble down one by one. They will get the Dendi puck, and it turns into a 4-for-1 trade, the biggest trade of this game, and it's going for the boys in blue.
That was amazingly aggressive play from EG there, just going in, and I love the positioning they had, and Zai again shows why I said he's one of the players that I really respect on Elder Titan. He played it back in the old days, and it's just beautiful to see.
This allows EG to really ramp it up now as they push in for this tier 2. It totally shifts the gears of this game. Na'Vi, who were kind of supposed to be more the Drow 5-man accelerated lineup, this definitely throws a wrench in the plan a bit.
It does, and this is just gonna hurt you. When you don't get to tier 2 towers as a Drow lineup, your momentum kind of stops. And as you see on the Drow Ranger herself, she doesn't have that much item progression going on. Dying 3 times in a row, it really doesn't look easy for Na'Vi from here on. They need the Blink Dagger, I think, on General, and that's why he hasn't finished up the armlet. Yeah, so he just won Blink Dagger right after the helm, casual helm, and I think that's the right choice now. They need to get the initiation instead of EG just running them down.
Yeah. Dendi is looking to throw together a Yules that could help out quite a bit. Maybe Artstyle finishing the makings of a potential Ags could help, but you're right, the utility that EG bring is starting to shine a little bit more now as the levels do begin to come in for their squad.
Yeah, definitely.
The mech and Hand of God, like, they look like almost indestructible in some of these fights, and when you think it breaks out and Na'Vi commit in like their big hits, their crushes, their coils, they kind of just shrug it off.
There's still a little bit of a window, though, because the mech is still 700 gold off. He doesn't actually have the entire thing. So.
No, Universe has them back.
Oh, does he?
Team.
Oh, actually,
PPD also? PPD
wow.
might be just going for Crimson. Obviously, we know very good against the Drow. So.
Yeah.
Unless it's a mistake.
No, that's actually fine. Wow, I just missed that. I wonder if EG wanna go for tier 2 towers now. They got the tier 2 mid, and that's a pretty big blow, but they could sit back and farm for a bit now, which it seems like they're doing. The Blink Dagger, of course, on Void now to initiate even harder. It's all about closing distance. The way they play, they get really close and personal with Na'Vi, and Na'Vi, they can really only Oracle ulti one guy, and then as soon as that happens, they go on someone else.
Yeah.
You saw that in the last fight. They Oracle ulted Enchantress, and they're like, okay, we're gonna leave her.
Ooh, you wanted to make an advancement for Dendi, but obviously Dendi privy to it. Quickly TP's out from the trouble. But up to the point, you're right, they were taking things a little bit slow. But and now it looks like EG are going to come together, and they'll be the team to make an advancement for possibly some more tier 2s, specifically up here in the top lane. So we'll have to see what Na'Vi want to do to defend. Because the problem I'm seeing is if EG get to a point where they're making an advancement on Na'Vi and even pushing into their high ground, I mean, would you say Na'Vi even have very good high ground defense?
Not really. It's a very committing high ground defense. They have to go in with the puck ulti and follow up and just run in. They can't just sit back and clear the waves that easily.
Yeah.
Because the only real thing they have for that is just the puck illusory orb. Nothing else clears the creep waves. And
Fear is in a fantastic spot, waiting for the pocket chrono here. Now they are going to be able to blow up Sumail quickly. Fear continues to wait. There goes the time splitter. Fear jumps in, gets a chrono. It's only for Ditch-Ra. Actually, he did catch General. It's right on top of him there. We'll be able to help finish him off with the assistance coming out from Universe here. Ditch-Ra, who is also stuck in that chrono, tries to run off to the left. Can't hide in the trees. Fear's going to blink on in and catch him and take him down. Another strong fight for EG as they get a follow-up cleanup. Fear makes it a double as he clears out Samiko. Hardstyle going to be next on the list for the boys, and they'll be able to finish him off. Triple kill for Fear.
Yeah, they blew everything on the TA there, and I think the puck silence is one of the big things that they can't use like that to get a pick off on a TA, because then you have all these other heroes getting their spells off as they want.
Yeah.
And if you don't stop Elder Titan and Void, that's just gonna be very troublesome for your team.
Here comes EG, man. Now they're moving in for a tier 3.
No intentions of stopping either.
And it really feels like EG know that this is their moment here. They'll take tier 3, and it looks like they'll play it safe from that point on. They back out right away, and we'll go back into the grind. Huge winnings for them, though.
And they almost have an entire Orchid on this Nature's Prophet. The sad part about that for Na'Vi is that the silence is going to be so good. When he goes behind lines and gets Oracle, or even on a puck, he has to self-fuels himself, and after that, he can't be as aggressive anymore. It's just going to be a great item, and again, Roshan up.
Yep.
Very Vladimir's Deso.
Short timer. EG, though, look at this. Acknowledge that Na'Vi are going to be beelining it that way. They have the ward. They had the ward back in the mid lane, so they probably saw the transition coming in from Na'Vi. And it looks like they'll just kind of play it a bit patiently. Na'Vi move right in, place the ward on the high ground. EG, though, in a good spot. Kind of staying out from that vision here, but they do spot Zai. So they begin to make a move that way. And Zai quickly gets out.
The sad thing here for Na'Vi is that they can't really just go for it.
No, they
Elder
can't.
Titan is way too good at zoning you from Roche. Look at this. As soon as the Spirit comes in, it's like, oh, you want to keep going?
Oh,
okay, I'll
EG
just
would
stop you.
love to take a fight in a choke point like this.
They
With
just get
that, with
stumped.
the chrono, with the side blades, Fear makes his move. He catch a 3-man chrono setup coming out.
Oh, the
Na'Vi
splitter.
got to respond. There's a huge splitter follow. They get the silence for Fear. It looks like they will be able to burst down the Faceless Void. And now the follow-up from Sumail. He's able to crush on 4. They take down 2. They take down 3. Sumail with the triple kill, and EG move right back into the pit to take what's rightfully theirs.
This is just Sumail or Fear. Pick one, you kill that guy, and then you die to the other guy. That's what happens for Na'Vi right now.
This time they chose Fear, but the problem is Sumail hits a lot harder.
Man, Na'Vi going for that was... It's such... Oh, Dendi.
Dendi's in trouble.
I don't think he can catch him.
That's the puck factor now with Yules, with Blink. It ain't going to be easy.
I just can't get out.
Oh,
just barely.
That was close.
It's just very indicative of how far behind Na'Vi feel when they go for that Roshan. Because as I said, they can't go for Roshan against Elder Titan. That Spirit is going to destroy you. And that's exactly what happened. The Spirit stomped 2 of them, and then Fear just blinks in, time walks in, Chronos 2. And the fight was over from there, really.
I guess they feel like that's one of their outs in hopes of kind of moving that Roche pitch, catch EG, weak from doing the Roche from the previous fight.
Yeah.
Hope you can take a big fight there, take the Roche, and take the game back.
Exactly.
High risk, high reward, but this time there was no reward at all. EG were onto it. They had a good ward in the mid lane. They adjusted their positioning and they were ready for a counterfight. Now Na'Vi, they got a high ground defend, Waga, or they will lose game number 1.
Yeah, this is where the Dragonlance comes into a good play as well for the TA. Can sit back a little bit farther and to poke the high ground.
Casual side blade action here. Na'Vi have to be very mindful of their own positioning here.
I think EG want to take it a little bit slow though. You look at that cooldown on the Chronosphere, just 10 more seconds and then they can go. It's really about the combo between Elder Titan and Void, and they work so well together. Zai and Fear. And even the Solar Crest on Zai, on his Elder Titan. It's a very big item this game.
Sumail makes his move in, bashes down General a few times, takes a shot, backs out. He's got Hurricane Pike to work with now. And still has an Aegis. Denny makes his move in. Gonna be forced to Yules. Gets Yules up, sidesteps Fear, jumps in, gets Ginger on Arcel, both caught under the Chrono while Denny moves to the side, gets nuked down by PPD. And now EG are going to be looking to go for the closing blow here. Na'Vi forced to retreat back behind their racks. That Hurricane Pike damage coming up from Sumail way back and beyond. And then the jump in with the final blow, punches them right in the mouth. And will take Na'Vi out. They're going to be forced to double buyback. Denny moves back in, gets off a big coil between two, but Na'Vi split back, moves in. General tries to come in hard to the back lines, but he gets crushed down himself. Fear makes a commitment back in. Denny gonna self-fuels, goes off to the side. Ditya annihilated and out. Triple kill for Sumail. No more buybacks here for Na'Vi. They lose this one. This game is done, and it looks like that's gonna be the case. They begin folding in within themselves, and that is gonna be game. It takes about 24 minutes, and EG will claim game number 1 of this 2-game series.
That was a very effective stop to Drow Strat. They just really pulled it back as well after a hard early game. They managed to turn it around. When Arstyle got that momentum on his Enchantress, I thought Na'Vi would be in a good spot, but not a single tier 2 tower was really taken.
Well, EG, get off on the right foot here. A good start for game number 1. And I mean, we both felt after the draft that
Team ban.
Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Heat number 2, Day 1 group stage coverage of the one and only TI6. Probably the greatest esports tournament on the frickin' planet, if I'm not mistaken. I'm Coddle Guy, this is Waga, and I know he agrees with me.
Yeah, you couldn't have said it better, man. I agree.
Too much money for these players. They want a piece of that big old pie. But it's a very scary group stage for all these teams to make their way through, and making the difference between being in that upper bracket and lower bracket.
Oh, yes.
It's a lot of money difference right there.
It's a big money difference, and it's a big pressure difference. Because those games, when you're through the group stage, you're going to be on main stage. And that's a different feel. You see teams make more mistakes there, but also see some bigger plays. You know, some players, they step up to the pressure and just outperform. So,
and others not.
First, yeah, others not so much. But first, they gotta get there. We see the ban phase here: EG versus Na'Vi game 2. Mirana and Shadow Demon being banned out. Both of them were banned in the first game as well.
Anything from that first game that you think they might need to get rid of here in the first phase here and now? I mean, at first in the early game, it looked like Na'Vi's Enchantress was a lot of trouble. No ban on the Wisp so far, so maybe, you know, I wonder if Na'Vi are going to allow EG to pick it because they used it in the last series they had against Wings.
Huh?
They banned it, okay.
Not so much. They want it gone.
So possibly Elder Titan again right away?
I think they will open Elder Titan. It's a really strong opening pick. You can go many different directions with it, but Faceless Void obviously is the strongest combo available. And if not, you could also go Faceless Void as one of your first picks as well. As for Na'Vi, I don't think it was so much about draft, because the way EG did it was just outplaying in the team fights. They really just ran at them and took them down, and they were gonna see the same opening. How do you react this time if you're Na'Vi?
That is not something I would have been expecting either for game 1. If you're looking at Na'Vi like, well, They have a draft they could ask for. They have what we feel like is the better draft. And I would have felt that Na'Vi probably would have came in playing a bit of a crisper game just based on, well, their recent showing, Star Ladder winning the whole event.
Sure.
But yeah, I was quite surprised. EG definitely stepped up in that last game. And
normally, I see Na'Vi as a power friendship kind of team, right? All of them are normally shining a lot. Like their mid player plays good, their supports are doing what they want. You know, Soneko and Artstyle are legendary by this moment. And I just feel they're all contributing. But in last game, it was really only Artstyle. You know, like we were focusing a lot on how beautiful his rotations were, but we didn't have any farm coming in on a draw. There was nothing really happening on the offlane. Even with all these rotations, it seemed like they didn't get much footing.
Another notable thing that maybe Na'Vi need to consider, and I don't mean to call anyone out, but it was seeing General underperform like that for game one, or at least maybe he made a questionable item commitment, you know, maybe stalling out for the blink or not farming enough time for the blink. But seeing General not be a high impact in the game definitely affects Na'Vi's game,
it does.
like overall.
Because he takes over games when he has a good start. We've seen him get solo kills on one-on-one lanes on his off lane very often, and we also see what he does when he gets that gold. But here we are going to see Na'Vi deny that pickup and go for a Witch Doctor, so they don't give away the crack combo with the Chronosphere, but now they have themselves a nice little thing with the Death Ward.
It kind of takes you back a bit, almost, what was it, like TI4 was like the first time we saw a lot of corny, like Faceless Void plus Skywrath Mage at the time, and occasionally teams would swoop in with the Witch Doctor, which then you could put the Death Ward inside the Chrono.
Exactly.
Still have a good combo with it on the outside, but the Witch Doctor also kind of can limit the hero pool for EG a bit. I was going to say, you know, now that means that Universe can't go for like a Nature's Prophet or even like a Beastmaster potentially, because you could run into problems there, but they were quick to pick up the Bat Rider as a substitute.
Oh, definitely. Bat Rider is still extremely high tier and not a weird first phase pick at all. And even though it kind of wakes up targets a little bit easily for Elder Titan Stomp, it's still fine. And I think it's a strong hero against Faceless Void. Damage over time is something he doesn't deal with that well. He can time walk away one damage instance, sure, but Bat Rider will just slowly melt you down, and you can't really time walk against that.
And as we know with EG and Bat Rider, they are one of those teams that has a bit of flexibility with it. We don't know if it's going to be the Universe Bat Rider, or, you know, they could pull an audible and throw Sumail on the Bat Rider in the mid lane. So they do have that kind of flexibility to work with, and we'll see if we end up seeing a shift in gears or not.
To me, it would feel a little bit strange, though. I know Sumail has experimented with different heroes on the mid lane, but I just feel he does so much better on a DPS kind of right-clicking mid hero.
Oh, yeah.
So I would love to see him just play something else and let the Universe have this.
So second phase, this time EG will ban and acknowledge the Enchantress here.
You have to have been a little bit scared if you were EG in last game, because every single lane was suffering the punishment of Artstyle.
Yeah, it's just too comfortable for him. You don't want to give him that kind of option here. There is no real early threat of a possible Huskar, so I don't think that's too necessary for either team. You know, maybe could still pop out, but without seeing a Dazzle or an Oracle yet in the draft, it might be something the captains decide to kind of pass on. But this is where things could get weird. You could see teams try to just quickly, you know, sneak in something like a Broodmother or something. Like, this is where the draft gets scary.
Yeah. Second phase is when you kind of bring out the stuff that you didn't expect, because Faceless Void, Bat Rider, Elder Titan, all of these are very obvious heroes in the current meta. But I really think that Huskar is so high tier among the kind of cheese picks, and both EG and Na'Vi have done it, and in fact done it consecutively. EG previously today did it 2 times in a row, and as we mentioned earlier, Na'Vi, they in fact won Star Series the final game with it. The final game they just won on an outdraft 100%. The game was over when the draft was done pretty much. And that's how dangerous it is if you don't prepare for the Huskar.
Early ban on the Axe. Now that is interesting. That tells more, I think, for Na'Vi than anything else. I wonder if that means that they could decide to follow up with a later, you know, Dazzle or something or other. Because I don't know if we've seen EG pick up the Axe too much. It's more, it more feels like we don't want them to have an Axe to counter what we are thinking about going.
They banned it in the first phase, in fact, in last game.
They did?
Yeah, and it was also something that caught me a little bit off guard, but there was a lot of stuff happening.
I know teams don't like to scrim against each other in the same group, but I wonder if this is something that they have seen in scrim play or not.
Yeah, in general, the groups try to scrim against each other so they don't show their strategies, but here they are going to go back for an Oracle, so okay then.
Could possibly see a 4th pick Huskar.
Banning X is something you do when you want to have Huskar.
Yeah.
That's definitely something I feel, because he has pure damage, and he can also very easily go for Blade Mail, which destroys Huskar.
What do you think then? Do EG have to acknowledge it enough that what if they grab like an early AA or something? I mean, you already have Witch Doctor heal and Oracle heal. It might be an okay justified pick if the Huskar doesn't come out.
You could go for that. I also think that Batrider might be underrated against Huskar. Just the damage over time makes it really hard to armor toggle, and then you have the turn rates, which can also really mess you up. But they need to make sure they don't pick something that's inherently weak against Huskar, and I think they're fine. If they see a Huskar on the next pick, then they can start countering it.
Yeah.
So just pick up your mid hero, in fact, or your carry hero. Any of those two are fine.
Maybe like Timber, I guess, is always a trusty pick. That could be good against a Huskar. Could be good against any lineup. So, you know, maybe EG just kind of starting to spitball a bit with Sumail, with whoever, with Fear, and being like, what do you guys think about this right now?
Sumail also likes to play the Timbersaw. He did play a very weird Timbersaw at Manila Major, though, but I think he has adapted more now, probably, and seen the other successful Timbers, because he did something very strange and maxed out the third skill when he was solo mid Timber, and it did not work out well.
Okay, this is interesting.
Okay.
What if... Now, is it possible, if Na'Vi skip on Huskar here, EG take it themselves?
We have the same thing happening there, right? The damage over time against Void, we already mentioned, is good. And Huskar really is not a hero you want to be against this Void. Even your bash is magical damage, so it's hard to bring him down. And yeah, they could definitely pick it. It's the hero... It's the cheese hero of the tournament so far has been Huskar, if you don't count the Drow late picks. But Drow, everyone is kind of seeing as a normal hero, I think, by now. It's not even surprising.
We go back the way of Na'Vi, and Na'Vi have seen now this Dazzle come out from EG, so in their mind, they could be thinking, are they thinking about going for this Huskar? Are we thinking about going Huskar? What is happening here? Or, you know,
maybe...
they still have like trusty picks they've gone for in the past, like the Lycanthrope for Ditya. Do you think that the push pressure there, the aggression could fit possibly? I mean, EG have not really shown their hand as far as what their game plan is.
They could do so many things on Na'Vi. They could even go for Invoker or Tinker. I think any of those heroes for Dendi are also fine here. Or even go back for something like, okay, they go for the Huskar.
Okay, they're in.
Yeah, they're committed.
In. And I can tell you, Waga, if we sat here and we thought about it, EG probably thought about it too, so they probably expected this.
Oh yeah, this is not news to anyone. When Oracle comes out, you know that, okay, there might be a Huskar.
You start thinking 2 steps ahead, so EG have to have something on the back burner here right now in preparation for when this Huskar was to come out.
I can see in one way how Dazzle works if you're expecting a Huskar, because you have the Weave, and you also have all physical damage from Dazzle. He doesn't do any magical damage, so he's quite strong at bringing Huskar down. And when you lower the armor of Huskar, that's how you deal with him easily.
If they had gone for that AA, though, this definitely probably would not have been a Huskar pick, but
yeah,
I don't know. I guess you're worried.
That's the worrisome part, because then exactly.
If you commit for the AA and they don't get it, then you're like, so I imagine EG were in that bit of a struggle.
Exactly.
But they go for the Ursa as the man fighter.
A graved up Ursa going into man fight an Oracle ultied Huskar? Okay, well, I think...
Who wins that?
Oracle ulti Huskar, for sure. Because the heal from Inner Vitality and Oracle ulti is just... It's insane how much it heals.
Maybe they're waiting to add one other piece of the puzzle to make sure that Ursa wins that fight.
I think so.
That's the Sumail hero. So you get extra possible firepower, and the Timber's still there. Maybe someone who gets in the face, jumps the backlines to that Oracle and takes him out right away.
I love the Razor ban. I think that was a good, smart ban, because Razor would have been quite strong here for EG. But I think Timbersaw is a valid other option. Just without committing so hard, he can actually bring down the Huskar just by nuking him with Chakram and then diving in when he needs to. But I wonder what EG are scared of here for Na'Vi to pick.
Yeah, we look at the side of Na'Vi.
We know it's a Huskar strat.
Yeah, it's a Huskar strat.
Typically, Huskar strats, they break high ground quite early. Some games even end in like 15 to 18 minutes. So you have to pick something that doesn't take long to get online.
I mean, Dendi, as we know, has a... Oh, that says to me that they're going to be going Timber. A ban on SK is like one of the best final picks that Na'Vi could have gone. I mean, man, that would have been dramatic if easier like we're on board with the Timber idea, and then Na'Vi got that Dendi Sand Kingdom matchup against it potentially. That could have been pretty damn dramatic. So
yeah, it's very hard to lane melee against the Caustic Finale. Even though Timbersaw normally does well against strength melee heroes, Sun King is a lane that you don't really win. You just lose. So good ban, and I think you have to respect it.
Ooh, a Viper. Very different than what you would consider a Sumail hero. Sumail, clashy, flashy, young gun. Vipers, nah.
Let's play Viper. It's basically like, He's driving the subway right now.
Yeah, it's like, this is a lot of work, guys.
It's going one way. That's what Viper does.
Woo!
But it does fit the bill right here. And,
So who do you get if you're Dendi? OD? Like, you have to... Viper is like one of the mid laners who usually wins most matchups. It's like, isn't like the Trinity, like Viper, Razor, OD are like some of the best mid laners in the game.
They can just lane Huskar mid as well. That's the thing. They can put Huskar mid and come in with the Witch Doctor to harass, or even with the Oracle to slow down. And Viper is in trouble pretty quickly. So they're going to do Dendi Juggernaut, mid Juggernaut.
Interesting.
Right, it's going to be a very hard offlane for Evil Geniuses to contest. As a Huskar, you pretty much auto-win your safe lane. You can't really lose, no matter what the hero is. But Batrider can always farm jungle.
That's true. It looks like another game, though, that might not go too long. This doesn't look like a 40-minute, 50-minute kind of a game, Waga. This looks like a potential 15 to 25-minute kind of a game right now.
Setting it under 25 for sure, maybe even under 20. You know, that's what we expect from something like this. If it goes late, though, then it's going to be pretty interesting to see the team fights go down. Because of the Grave and the False Promise, it will be sort of a mind game. You have to bait out the ulti from Oracle or the Grave and then take the fight afterwards.
I'm telling you, like all the predictions I had made, I was coming on the back of the meta we had been seeing, and I was anticipating we're probably going to be seeing a lot of Shadow Demon picks and stuff. Nope, not the case at all. Oracle, every game.
He's banned all the time, the Shadow Demon. People rate him very high.
All right, quick predictions here. Team with the most kills. And by the way, my mini-map works. I'm so happy. Team with the most kills at the end of the game. Well, if things go right, I imagine Na'Vi should be one to take the most kills in the game.
I'm on board, actually, even though I think EG outperformed them pretty hard in the first game. Yeah, I'll go Na'Vi.
Team with the most runes picked up by 10 minutes in. You got Viper, Sumail mid lane, Dendi
I think Juggernaut and the Witch Doctor will roam around a lot for the runes compared to a Viper. I don't think he's going to go for runes that much.
Total number of towers killed before 25 minutes. Well, this is a pretty fast-paced game.
Well, we expect the entire game to be over around that time.
I know, so 6 to 10, 11 to 5.
I'll do 6 to 10, I think.
Fair enough. Yeah. And finally, it looks like a player who gets the longest kill streak.
I'm going to go with the Immortal Huskar, actually. This is very Na'Vi-heavy predictions from me, but...
I'm going to go one with Fear.
Yeah.
Just because I got a fancy card on him, you know.
All right.
You know, it works.
Got to be true to your cards.
Yeah. And it's a hard one because these are two very... Fear, but looking through their item, early item progression, doesn't look like any sort of
Void might steal the top rune. They're going to get both runes. They could.
General, thinking about sneaking in for it. Pops up. He grabs it.
Yep.
Both runes. Going to be going to Na'Vi the start of game 2.
What a great start. I mean, it doesn't feel like a good or a big impact anymore because it's no experience. But as an offlaner, you get 100 gold. You're going to celebrate, you know? It's a party for General now. He's happy.
And it also looks like Artstyle had dewarded too on top of it. So it's going to be a nice little start for Na'Vi on this one. Artstyle also going to be moving up and ahead to scout out maybe the creep wave coming forward. Universe will be there, and EG, at least at the start of this, again, will be running kind of a dual offlane setup here. And PPD will just be kind of playing tag team in this mid lane, as it's more of a 2-on-2 now.
All right, then. Well, this is a lane where Viper Dazzle really trade quite effectively early on. And likewise, bottom lane, Delta Titan and Batrider are not that easy to go up against.
Uh-oh, they're making a move for Zai. Coconut, double bounce on Zai.
Wow.
Very unfortunate luck right there for him. He will be going down first blood to Dendi.
Oh, Universe! You could have died.
Once it's so bad, he will get it. But you're going to be handing over 2 kills to Dendi with it. Double kill for Dendi's Jug. That's a nice start.
They dealt with that lane so well. They kind of had to do that. Go high committing and just take the fights. If they sat back and just tried to trade hits, they were actually going to lose the lane really hard. So I love the way they played that. Going already on level 1.
Not good for EG. I mean, you put this aggro offlane setup, you're hoping that kind of the opposite happens here in a 2v2 matchup here, where you're trying to pressure the Jug from really getting anything, and you end up handing over 2 kills. So it's on them to kind of find their way back into this. Is Dendi going to be grabbing up an early stick? It doesn't feel like it's too necessary at the time. Well, Artstyle still already has his. Actually, he goes in there and grabs one now.
Surprised Sumail hasn't skilled up the corrosive skin at all against a Huskar who keeps burning spearing him.
Now, I haven't seen Sumail play Viper too much. I don't know how familiar he is with these kind of matchups.
Well, as a mid player, I'm sure he's played everything quite a lot, but it's just going to be really good for him. He'll get it on level 3, I'm sure.
Yep. We'll have to see how that matchup does progress. We know Viper not to be one to scale too far in the late game and is hoping to make his kind of impact sooner than later. Is it going to be a kind of a Viper game where you might need to consider going more utility-based, get that early mech, let's say? Or does he need to be more of a fighter kind of a build and focus more on...
I like the long-range build, the Dragonlance early. It's super good in laning stage. It's really good against Huskar, as you don't want to get too close to him. And that way you can slow him down, get that 40% slow on him, and not let him get close enough to jump you. I think Dragonlance into maybe even a farming Yasha build. Oh, Sumail.
Yeah, he's hitting a lot of nuke damage here. So Nico, only with level 1 Purifying Flames, that's not going to be enough to burst him down. Could end up healing Sumail a little bit, but man, those burning spears do so much. Zai shows up, gets off the stomp.
Oh man,
Zai takes down Ditya.
Zai has such good positioning in these games. Like previous game, he was dominating. Sure, he died once this game already as well, but he also just made a kill happen on the mid.
He had a haste rune just before that, and he was just flirting around the bottom lane where Na'Vi pinged out, so they must have figured he wasn't in the neighborhood any longer.
Yeah.
But he used the back end of that speed boost to kind of put himself in a good position towards that mid lane, help set up.
I feel quite bad for General in the top lane. This Void against Ursa lane is so terrible. Oh no, and he failed. You have to stay out of range for a long time so the Fury Swipes entirely get off you. Because if he refreshes it, all the previous stacks stay, and the cooldown is reset.
That is annoying.
It's very hard to lane against.
You see it in the CS game right now, how much it's crippled him in the one-on-one matchup. I mean, Fear, King of CS 20-0, while Void's still at 9-0 right now. So Fear going to make a good potential fight back here.
It's a near impossible lane, actually. Many melee heroes struggle against Ursa.
I mean, the nice thing for Faceless Void is he's not going to get bullied enough out of the XP range. But yeah, Batrider bottom lane. Indy goes in deep with a Blade Fury. Now the rotation comes out from Zai, and Na'Vi will have to pump the brakes a bit. Don't want to overcommit and get too greedy, where this Batrider could just kind of fly up and away.
It's a very even start so far, though. Despite the fact that Ursa is free farming quite a lot, the mid lane is very dead even.
Denny does have those 2 kills to match up against Fear's high CS game. But you are right, this game does feel like it's pretty close to an even playing field. And for both of these drafts, they're very critical to succeed in the early game. I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot, but with Drows, with Huskars, keep popping up every game, that's how it is.
It's the way Dota is right now shaped, the way teams play it.
Okay, beautiful. Coconut bounces between PPD and Sumail multiple times, allows Na'Vi to creep into the high ground and try to get off the bursting damage. They will lose their Huskar just before taking down Sumail's Viper. Follow-up blow is going to be taking down the Sonico Oracle, and now they're looking for a bit of more here. Are they going to commit in deep for it? Zai looking to go for the stomp, actually forces Arcel back into them,
nice
but
dodge.
not enough. Good dodge. It looked like it could have been scary to walk back towards them, but he is able to avoid the stomp. And
he stayed calmed. Just didn't panic as they started going on.
Good heads-up play from Na'Vi, and now EG are going to pull up and ahead here.
In fact, the corrosive skin kind of saved them there, because 3 of them got stomped by the Elder Titan, but 2 of them had corrosive skin, so they immediately woke up again. Else they could maybe have been in a really bad spot against EG there.
Touchback with Fear here, still grinding away right now. How long should he be focused being here, grinding away before, you make your early moves, whether that be towards, some sort of kill setups or going for the Roche?
Phase Boost Blink.
Phase Boost Blink?
I think when you have those 2 items, you can start doing whatever you want. As you threaten to kill anyone, and even if you don't go, they're going to try and kill him, though.
Yep, surprise Witch Doctor now. Fear, who had been doing his own thing for quite a while, now pops up the ultimate and thinks about going man mode here, but then there's going to be the chrono play from General. PPD shows up, and he's got a grave waiting just in case, and that's Na'Vi going, oh no, we got to get the hell out of here, but that's not going to be happening. Even Universe and Zai shows up to get in on the action. So 4-man rotation from EG to this top lane as they take down the Witch Doctor, who tried to make his own ganking attempt.
It's a strange rotation, though. Coming in with a no maledict Witch Doctor trying to kill like that, you need to be very lucky with the bashes to get that kill. Especially as you know the Dazzle is gonna have a TP ready.
Now EG trickling down from that top lane. Zai shows up first, gets off a decent stomp.
Again, Corrosive Skin saving him, though. He immediately wakes up. So, in fact, the Burning Spear onto the Viper is what keeps him safe.
Very interesting, and does obviously make things a bit tricky if Zai wanted to get any sort of potential setup near Sumail.
Hey, Sumail was right all along. Should not skill Corrosive Skin against this.
We'll have to make do with it, I guess, in the meantime here, as EG continue to kind of stride across the map. Looks like Fear will actually adventure elsewhere now. He heads towards the bottom lane, could grind out the rest of his farm here, and then be that much closer to the Roche pit if an opportunity does present itself.
I suppose he realizes the Juggernaut might be the bigger threat right now, just to make sure to shut down Dendy a little bit, since he has 2 kills as well to his name.
Yeah, it's a very different kind of a game for Dendy than what we're used to seeing from the classic mid lane Na'Vi player. As he continues his own grind of farm, and it's actually Ditya who takes the mid lane and is more involved in the action here. As him and Sonika are going to have to camp out behind this tower. EG make their slow approach, not just there, but also in the bottom. This is a moment for the Witch Doctor, I guess, to farm up in the top lane to muscle towards his level 6.
Yeah, he's doing that, and they're also getting a lot of pressure with the Void just taking tower damage here. And neither team really wants to fight. Seems they're kind of dodging each other. Can they go on Dendy?
Thinking about making a move. They jump in. They get the lasso. Can they take him down before the Omni? He has a mango if necessary, but doesn't want to commit in for it. They will be able to bring him down. EG successful on that front, and they might try to go for a +1 on this tier 1 tower in the top or in the bottom, because the top lane tier 1 already going down to Na'Vi.
They sort of traded Dendy for a tower right there, though. But
yeah.
Now I think they need to make something happen on mid lane, like jump in actually.
PPD's close. Once the Viper Strike goes out, Sonika tries to help out Ditya, but they are going to be able to get the finish here, and it looks like it could be a twofer as they get the Soniko drop. Zion a killing spree, General looking for the response, moves in, gets the chrono, catches 2. They look to go for Sumail first, they will bring him down, and now they're going to be looking for chase here on PPD, and Zai also nearby. Universe waiting though. Na'Vi.
There's a DD rune as well. They can give that to Ursa and try to take Rosh if they want to. There's no chrono now.
Dendy has his Omni, thinks about moving in. But there's no chrono setup, obviously.
They're just waiting.
Yeah, I mean, EG just using their positional advantage. And now with Artstyle coming in and Soniko, numbers are starting to come in for Na'Vi. Universe makes his move, walks in. Fear's going to get up a couple of shots for Dendy here. They're waiting for Dendy to finish. Flame break back, going for more. Dendy's still running away. Universe with no more mana, no lasso to work with. Now they see Artstyle very low on the low ground. Fear trying to tag down Dendy, will get him. That's 2 dropped on the side of Na'Vi. EG with the fight back now. They get the stomp set up for General, and now Fear looks to move in and finish up the Faceless Void. Will be able to do so. Sumail with the double kill. EG claim the lives of 3.
Na'Vi plays so aggressive there, even after committing their Chronosphere, and they didn't really have anything else to use. The Huskar was just respawning. He was actually low HP as well. It's just, or low level as well. I don't think they can take the fight like that. They just got surrounded by EG, and then you run along this cliff edge here, and if you fight against a Batrider along that cliff, he's just going to be able to go up and down whenever he wants to. I've talked to a lot of Batrider players. That's the dream, basically.
Now Na'Vi back. Dendy is not in fighting shape. He's going to have to heal up here. Eats a Viper Strike casually and will await the rest of his comrades to make their own approach towards the mid lane. Na'Vi trying to at least get a bit of an economy boost by bringing down this tier 1 in the mid.
One big thing though is that EG have nothing really on Universe so far. He's not getting close to Blink Dagger. He's been going for a lot of cheap items, and he does have 2-1-4 as his stats, but he doesn't have the money for a Blink at all.
Yeah, the biggest boost for EG in that last fight was just their own position advantage. Like, they had Universe in a spot where he didn't even need to have a Blink. He was covering the high ground well. Na'Vi looking to make a move. Mid lane, commit in with a Coconut, with a Death Ward, and an Omni, and it's all going to be more than enough to bring down the Viper. Beautiful 2-man chrono comes out from General to catch both Universe and PPD. Universe gets the lasso, gets the pullback, gets the Grave from PPD to help keep him alive while Zai moves on forward. Is going to be enough to bring down General, and Na'Vi withdraw. They get the hell back. Going to be happy and committed to get the one-man takedown and possible tower, but Artstyle is going to get stomped up. Universe and Zai begin to tag team him a bit. Here comes Oracle from the high ground. No, he's not on the high ground. He's stuck within the trees while Fear continues to move on forward. Can he get Dendy? He's moving for it. He'll get it done. This Ursa becoming quite the machine now as he wraps up and over. Zai also gets the grab on the Oracle. Artstyle still also in the mix, will also get dropped. Zai gets a double.
Can we just take a moment to praise Zai for how great he is at this hero?
He is.
First game, he completely shut it down with it, and now again, 6-1-4 as a support Elder Titan. He's just been at the right place, right time, and he shows how strong this stomp is. You stomp one enemy support, and then you have 5 seconds to run up. It's forever.
Fear's like, thank you very much. I'll be there in just a second.
Yeah.
And then he just goes to work right now. And if you looked at Fear's items, you wouldn't even think he was that much of a beast, but the setup is there, his team's behind him, and he just goes to work.
Yeah, he also has the Blink Dagger coming out now on the Courier, so he's got his farm now, and this is just gonna get a lot harder for Na'Vi. and it's a little bit reminiscent of last game.
Oh, art style, you might have come to the wrong neighborhood here, but Dendy does move in, him in general, looking to go to work, but they have no chrono, no real big setup on the side of Na'Vi. Universe says, I got set up for EG, grabs Ichiro, pulls him to the low ground. He's going to be forced to hop up and above and tries to break his way out, but he's not going to be able to do it. Meanwhile, huge stomp again from Zai. On the back end side, Na'Vi going to get crushed down. The Earth Splitter also there, so Nico has to save himself with the false promise, but Fear is not going to be able to get him. Actually, he will. Not going to be enough when he makes it back to the fountain. 4 go down from Na'Vi. It's like, what, Waga? 3 back-to-back fights, all going for EG. This is becoming insurmountable.
They're just extremely outpositioned in every single fight. And one big thing that I think is game losing for them in this game, they don't have time dilation. The entire game, they're just team fighting, but he has opted not to skill time dilation. I think this is a massive mistake by Na'Vi. I'm not gonna call it on the player individually, because I think if you're gonna play like this, then you need time dilation. It's gonna be so good against all of EG. 6 seconds extra cooldown, you would make the Shadow Wave have twice as long cooldown, for instance. Just gonna have a massive impact. Or Batrider sticky napalm, of course.
Is it too soon now to say that it's possible this Huskar could be pretty damn irrelevant? He's trying to man up on PPD.
He's gonna get him.
He will get that kill.
Actually, Witch Doctor, the cask, comes in and takes that money. So even that little money, Ditya doesn't get. No, he's definitely in Struggle Town because Viper hits him so hard from so far away, and then you have Ursa also just going in and man-molding him. And Weave is having a big impact.
Ooh,
the Knife's armor.
Oh, Universe spotted General. His lasso comes off cooldown at the perfect moment for him to hog tie up the little faceless guy. And Fear will be able to kind of knock him down.
This game is really crumbling so quickly right now.
Full 720 right now, all for EG.
It's not looking great. 13 minutes and we've seen 27 kills.
Well, that's what you kind of expect with a Huskar versus Ursa kind of a game. We knew it was going to be pretty action-packed, but this one feeling a little one-sided at the moment. But Na'Vi do try to persevere.
Na'Vi has a lot of carry heroes, but the downside right now is that even the enemy Elder Titan is out-farming them. So the Void and the Huskar are 1,000 gold behind, in fact.
Uditya says, you want this bounty rune? Springs the trap and makes a jump for Sumail, but of all the people to come for the rune, the Viper may not be the easiest target, but he wants to commit on in for it, so Nico helps him out with a false promise, but Fear makes the jump and wipes out that Oracle. Ditya Ruff fighting on the back end life of his false promise, barely alive, will end up going down. It's a 3-for-2 trade. General now surrounded between 3 EG members. The blue uniforms surround him, and he says, get the hell away! Drops the chrono and defensively purely just to save his own life, and it might still not be good enough. It looks like he's found the clear path and will be able to escape, but that's when you know things are not going so well if you have to pull out a chrono like that.
Fear's still thinking about it as he ran out of rewards. Everyone is kind of chasing this little Void.
He has TP on cooldown for 20 more seconds. They're pinging, they're chasing. Fear says, where do you think you're going, little boy?
Okay, he should be fine. You shouldn't be able to find a time-walking dude in the trees. Will be hard. But this game, EG feel like they can do whatever they want there. It's just, even with the Inner Vitality and Oracle combo, they don't have levels enough to really make it work. There's only 1 level in Inner Vitality. It didn't heal enough. Huskar instant died after the Oracle ulti.
And obviously with the Oracle sporting nothing, he has to be really close for even getting off all of his spells, which means Fear just jumps right into his lap and says, oh, I'm glad you got that false promise off. Your life is now ended. And I'm going to move on to the next target here. And
that's where you want that Aetherland, so you can sit back really far away and not get jumped. But Ursa doesn't play that game. He will find you.
Yeah.
He has Face Boots, he has Blink, and you're an Oracle.
And Fear's kind of the guy who's been around the block. He's played every position in the books. He knows where the supports like to hide, and he knows where to find them. And on this Ursa, he shows it here. It's like, sees Ditya there.
He has the Aegis, so this is going to be an initiation on the...
Thinking about cutting him off, but he's been spotted. Ditya can't get away from Zion's spirit. And Fear eventually isolates him, shoves him into a corner, and puts in the work. Already is a basher and nearly 1,100 gold to his name. Ursa continues to get mightier and mightier at about 8K of net worth to his name. Sumail's the second. The highest net worth is still Dendy for Na'Vi, but as you can see, he's having to play the game very, very cautiously, very safe.
It is a little bit awkward seeing Dendy be the safe lane player and putting Ditya on the mids and the way they drafted here. I like it better when Dendy's playing any form of initiation hero than when he plays this Juggernaut kind of safe lane, actually like a safe lane carry. It doesn't fit him at all, I don't think.
And whenever you watch a Na'Vi game, it always feels like it just works like in this typical choreographed pattern where, yeah, Denny's usually that mid-game performer who peaks first and then ditches the follow-up.
Exactly.
But this time, yeah, it does feel quite the opposite here.
Yeah, I always envisioned the combo of General going in to initiate and then Dendy will be there to follow up, but plays out very differently.
Made the jump in. Fear is going to get hit with the Fate's Edict, so he can't get the right clicks off to shred through Dendy, but eventually that Fate's Edict, oh, hi, one hit bash, how you doing? And that Oracle is as good as dead, godlike for Papa Fear.
This game is just in their pocket right now. I don't see how Na'Vi are going to be able to steal it away. They're trying to get farm on everyone, working towards a BKB, I can only assume, on DTRR right now. And if they get Mantistal and Diffusal on Juggernaut, his DPS is going to increase a lot. But right now, Fear is not letting them have any time.
Fear there. Sees Dendy, takes in the entire Omni Slash, and will now need the help from PPD. PPD steps in with a heal, and that's going to be enough. And enough space for Fear to blink it back and away. So he just takes the Omni, which is supposed to be probably one of Na'Vi's best DPS moves right now in the game.
At this moment, yeah.
And Fear just took it and was like, okay, thank you for that. I'll be going now.
Yep. And that's just even more time that EG can play aggressive. That's why we see Universe going in, grabbing art style.
Look at the Witch Doctor go to the low ground. He is going to get the false promise. He's trying to run back and away, but now he gets stomped.
He does heal a lot, though.
He does heal a lot. Yeah, Voodoo Restoration really pairs very nice with false promise. I mean, you shouldn't see Witch Doctor hit with the false promise too often, but when it happens, he's got plenty of heal to stay alive.
He definitely does. Or anyone, if he can sort of hug them while they get false promise.
Yeah.
But normally he will get focused instead then.
I will have to applaud Na'Vi. That is a nice little support pairing we don't see a lot of. I guess, I don't know, would you categorize them as two more defensive supports? I guess that's part of the reason we don't get to see him.
I mean, Oracle's ultra defensive. As for Witch Doctor, I think he's quite aggressive. In fact,
he can be pretty aggressive,
due to the cask and the gank potential he brings.
Really nice pairing to just benefit so much from the extra regen. And yeah, you're right. I mean, Witch Doctor typically pair with those teams that do like to 5-man.
And I'm actually happy seeing these games, by the way, because I have Elder Titan down as my prediction hero with the most win rates.
Oh, yeah?
And EG are kind of demonstrating why. I saw Secret play it in a lot of games, and it just looked insanely strong on Puppey. And this is not very different. It has so big impact. 8, 1, and 9 as a support. That's the thing. It's a support.
And then you, as a captain, I imagine, begin that inner struggle, especially if you're not going to have first pick, let's say. It's, you know, when you let someone like Elder Titan through, you know, who do you ban then instead? So you ban the Elder Titan and then you risk letting something like a Wisp through.
Well, this is where I think Shadow Demon is being a little bit overrated by a lot of the teams here. Yes, Shadow Demon is strong, but from the game style of what Shadow Demon get played compared to Elder Titan, I actually think Elder Titan is much more scary.
Yeah.
Shadow Demon you can deal with, because he always has to get pretty close. But Elder Titan can stay so far away. Oh, General.
General deep into EG territory, trying to find his own bit of farm. Will get
it hurts.
Spotted out by Fear. Universe helps out his buddy by setting it up with the beautiful lasso play. Meanwhile, back in mid lane, Arcel is going to be eating the Viper Strike, kited around, stomped down, and that Witch Doctor is as good as done. Ditcha tag teams in, trying to help out, but he ends up losing his own life as he's stuck between 3 EG members. Goes from bad to worse for the boys in yellow.
And they keep the streak alive as well. No kill for Huskar. 3 heroes down. How do you really do anything against this? And he did go back for the Dragonlance instead of going straight BKB. I guess he can still disassemble as the Huskar. And BKB would be so far away anyway.
Very tough series for both Ditcha and General. What were they? 0 and 6 in their previous game. This game, General 1 and 5. Ditcha
That's
2
true.
and 7.
None of them had any kills in last game, and both really struggled. But this is also a little bit outside of the, I don't know. I'm not going to say outside of the comfort zone of Na'Vi, but they're playing a different way.
I remember Red Eye was asking us out there, like, if there was one team you were expecting a totally different performance from, like, who would it be? And I don't think I would have expected Na'Vi to be one of those teams that tries to change things up from what we're used to seeing by them, because they had a good thing going.
I'm just amazed they didn't go for the Beastmaster at all for General. In either of these games, it was available, but they opted to not go for it. Oh, we see a smoke around here. Might very well be a desperation smoke.
The YOLO smoke, if you will, coming out from Na'Vi on this one, looking for a hopeful flank play. EG, though, should know no one's there. They're going to commit in the chrono, hoping to get the quick pick on Universe, committing a death ward as well, but that's when Fear makes the jump for the back lines. It's on Ditya first, who ends up jumping in for PPD. Fear cleans up and finishes out that General Batrider as Ditya tries to continue to go to work for PPD. It looks like he will be able to bring down the little Dazzle, but it's already been too much work here from the rest of EG here. Actually, Zai getting bullied back from General quite a bit. Looks like Sumail will be able to catch up. General desperate to make it away on the back of a TP, but that ain't happening. Zai has spotted him out and stops him down. Meanwhile, over, it's Fear up and around, ring around the Rosie a bit. Dendi tries to juke, but Fear says, not gonna happen.
It's just sad to watch. He had no tricks up his sleeve anymore. He's like, yeah, I'm just dead, but what do you do?
Looks like General is gonna be fine here. And gets a little bit of assistance from Artstyle to safely make it out from trouble, but still a fight. EG come out on top of, not as one-sided as we've been seeing, but that's probably credit to Na'Vi trying to go for the ambitious flank play there, but I don't think that was enough of a reward considering where they are in this game.
I think they're in such a position where they have to get a Chronosphere that hits multiple targets as well. It was a nice smoke around, they caught the Batrider, but they needed to like Omni-slash the Batrider and Chrono like the next 3 guys that come in and kill a support quickly. And it was very close to PPD getting the Grave off on Batrider first before he died. Yeah. But he just went for the weave and then Batrider surprisingly died quicker than he expected.
And we got to see now what Na'Vi could do, because just like game number 1, I don't feel like their high ground is the best thing ever. You know, Faceless Void does have his chrono for a hopeful setup, but I don't think there's nearly enough firepower behind it.
Well, luckily in this game, there's not that much siege from EG. It's more about the dive. I guess there is the Viper who can stand and hit your doorstep a little bit, but there's not that much that pushes up in terms of summons or
They do have the Batrider, yeah. I mean, he could creep in and get a quick kidnapping, and then with advantage in numbers, you eventually do kind of swarm in, but...
The second smoke, this time without Artstyle, and they're going to go for that Roshan.
All right, Na'Vi, are they going to be able to intercept here and stop EG from going for this Roche, which could lead to the eventual win? Na'Vi look to go up and over and see if they can spot anyone out. They will see Universe. Universe spots them, steps back. They make the move inside the front door. They get the pullback. They jump in. The Huskar grabs up the Aegis. Can Na'Vi make this fight work? Fear already takes out the Oracle, goes for Artstyle next, but he's got the Ghost Scepter there. Fear quickly gets rid of that Ghost Scepter and continues to slash. Ditya tries to focus Fear. Fear says, don't even bother, slaps him down, gets rid of the Aegis, and now EG will swarm him. And with him being out on his own here, there's really no chance. A triple kill for Fear. This guy is beyond godlike Waga. He is 16-0-4, and I have a golden fantasy card that is going to be very happy.
Fear has played amazing in this entire series, and yeah, they got the Aegis, but that was just so he could die one more time in that team fight. 6-0. Absolutely not what you want to have happen at all. Na'Vi, I think they're already talking about, you know, the next games in the group stage. I think this is pretty much the point they give up.
Nail
keep trying though.
In the coffin here. EG getting ready to just put him down for good. And Fear says, I want to make this 17-0.
Yep. He's racking up more and more fantasy points for his dear fans.
16.8. I'll take that. Thank you very much. But here they are making their siege attempt. Na'Vi, what is left in the tank for them to try to stop the roll of EG? They walk away with a win here, Waga. Both of them are going to be 1-1 for 2 different series at about a point each. They do get the snag on Ditya. That Huskar was there, but he is gone now. Has a buyback. Will decide to use it here. Na'Vi's final hurrah here and now. Coconut's going to be flying out. Sumail pops the Hurricane Pike and will easily take care of the Witch Doctor as he gets the Death Ward out. Him and Ditya begin to go toe-to-toe, but Fear steps in and says, I'm going to make it a one-sided match. Easily cleans up the Huskar, and that will be game. Na'Vi throwing the towel, and this series will get split 1-1. Or no,
actually
2-1.
2-1.
2-0.
2-0. God damn it. God damn it.
I forgot, you're right. So, EG with this win will have 3 points coming out of the second heat. Na'Vi, just the 1 point they got in the previous series.
Yeah, and that was just EG outplaying them a lot, I feel. Even though Na'Vi, they tried to go for some interesting drafts. They tried Huskar one game, Drow another, but you can't really outpick a team that just outplays you that much. I think EG played phenomenal. And the Elder Titan, again, I'm going to come back to it. I think that was key in both games.
Yeah, Na'Vi are probably going to have to take that